The new Philharmonic is going to be performing one of their most ambitious concerts to date. It's called Beethoven, 5 piano concertos, 1 pianist. This piece is very rarely done, and to help us understand the complexity of it, here today is one of my favorite people at the college, Professor of Piano, Dr. Steve Havens. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Thank you. Steve, you brought the music,
I did.
which I love.
I did.
So this is all the music that's going to be played.
That's it. That's it. An epic. I'd call it Herculean, if not Olympian, kind of effort on the part of this pianist, who is very, very excellent. A fine, fine piano. But I wanted you to see this. This is 300 pages of piano music. These are the 5 piano concertos of Beethoven, and to see them all in one night. To hear them all, to experience them all in one sitting, it's really epic. I think I've told you, been in school for a long time, many years, studied here in the States as well as in Europe, hundreds and hundreds of concerts in my background. I've never seen something like this done.
Why is it, why don't people do it?
Again, it's a tremendous
so much
effort.
music?
It's yes, and again, in all fairness, it's a huge, how do I say, task for the pianist, for the conductor, for the orchestra, and frankly, for the audience as well. Something that I think people are excited about taking part in, but you just do not hear this.
It's like 3 hours of music.
Yeah,
almost,
2.5,
right?
3 hours. Yeah.
2.5, 3 hours of playing.
Right. Right.
So to prepare for something like that as a pianist,
yeah.
right? So you're saying he goes for like 2.5 hours.
Yeah. Here's what happens. This is not something that Mr. Farouk has dealt with in the last year or two. These are great epic pieces. There's lots of concertos in the repertoire that we never get to hear, just because of the nature. They maybe just haven't fallen off the radar in terms of what people want to hear. But these are not only enduring pieces. These are the top of the classical repertoire, classical into the Romantic era concertos for piano. So these are a treat. But I can promise you, every conductor, every orchestra member, every pianist that reaches that level of virtuosity will live with these pieces for years and years and years. So like going back to a good friend. But I can promise you, Mr. Farouk knows not only his part, but he knows the orchestra part, he knows tempos, he's got a sense, a deep and profound sense, conviction about every theme, about how everything should be presented. So this will be wonderful.
Why is it important for New Phil to do something like this?
Well, I think,
What do you think?
Kirk Muspratt, Maestro Muspratt, is a bold and innovative programmer. Since I've been here at the college and he's been here, he brought in a recorder ensemble, a quartet of ladies from Germany. They did an extended stay, went into the schools, did workshops, and we got to hear music that we never hear. He also did a Piazzolla Bandonian concerto, which you never get to hear. You have to go to concerts like this because you will never have another chance. So bold programming right here in our backyard.
Isn't that exciting?
It is. It's great. It really is. It really is.
Now, as an audience member, I am not a classic music aficionado, but I've heard, will I recognize any of this? Would the average listener go, oh my gosh, I know this,
Sure,
I know that?
You will. You will. And again, you have a theater background. I think you might be delighted to know that standard symphonic forms are used here. Sonata, allegro form, ternary form, rondo, sonata, rondo, those kinds of things. Bunch of big words you learn in music school, but they really mean that this music is beautifully planned out, structured in such a way that drama really takes place.
Okay.
Yes.
So
And
they have a nice build.
They do. And the peak of the drama for the first and the third movement in most of the concertos is the cadenza. That's a solo passage where the soloist takes over. And they do improvisational kind of fantastic.
During the show?
Yeah. The music stops. In effect, time stands still. And the soloist takes off and does all sorts of virtuosic.
And it's written in there?
Some cases yes, some cases no. Historically, the cadenza was improvised.
Okay.
Beethoven was a phenomenal improviser, so he actually wrote such perfect cadenzas that he actually published them. Many composers have done the same. Now, I have no idea what Mr. Farouk is going to do. He may have composed his own. He may use Beethoven's. He may use any of the other half dozen or so to a dozen of other cadenzas that have been written for these pieces.
I never knew that. So a cadenza is actually an improv piece in the middle of a concert.
Based largely on the themes of the particular movement that it's happening in, and sometimes he'll throw in something new. But again, it's stop and go. It's drama. It's like a theatrical soliloquy, I guess you'd say. Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
This is really spectacular.
Yeah, it will.
How often do you, so you think it's really rarely ever, if ever, done? Has it been done, do we think, in the Chicago area? I don't think it has.
Not to my knowledge. one will often hear Beethoven's 32 piano sonatas, solo sonatas, over the span of maybe weeks or months. That's
Okay.
been done by many pianists, but I've never heard one pianist sitting down one night presenting all 5 concertos.
Have you ever tried it?
No. That's again like a Herculean task. It's like being in the Olympics many times over. So no. It's something that really I ran out and got tickets the first day I could because I thought I cannot miss this. So I'd urge your listeners and your subscribers
to go out and
take
get
part.
tickets.
Yeah, absolutely.
On a physical level, just to play this much music, what does a pianist do to build up?
Right. Well, it is very physical. The music of Beethoven is very, very physical. It's very very much direct music, and I like that about Beethoven. He speaks very directly. He does not rely so much on nuance like the 19th century composers do. At times he does, I should say. In the slower movements, you'll hear very tender sentiment. But in the outside movements, you generally hear something that's very forthright. So I think most pianists will work for years. Again, a concerto by definition is a virtuoso showpiece that couples the orchestral sounds with the sounds of the pianist, the solo pianist soloist, and kind of a dualistic kind of dialogue, maybe even a friendly competition. So, so the pianist has to actually match in scope and size and sound what the orchestra can do. So we have 2 equal partners here, and who wins, we'll find out. You know.
That's right.
Yeah.
When you're playing, Steve, and you're trying to get that sound out of the piano, because you hear certain like younger players, and it's not a very full sound, and it's strange because they're pressing the same button that a great pianist is playing. What is an accomplished musician doing differently than, let's say, a beginner? Is it the power that they're hitting the keys? Is it how they're hit? What gives you that fullness?
I would say, honestly, it has something to do with physicality, certainly. But when you're playing the piano, you're using weight. You're directing weight, and the speed of that weight is what determines the amount of sound. Okay. So a good pianist, they used to say, should be able to forge at least 20 different discernible gradations of volume. Other people say 100 possibly. It depends on the piano, depends on the room, depends on the pianist. But certainly a big virtuoso piece like this, you need to get really the full scope of what the piano can offer in terms of.
So you're
volume.
saying you can hit the piano 20 different ways to get 20 different levels of sound.
Minimum. Right.
How many do you think Wael Farouk does?
Oh, he's probably in the realm of hundreds, hundreds of different nuance of sounds. Yeah.
Amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, I want to watch it now sitting next to you, because when why we like to have someone like you come in is you listen to a great piece and you're like, sounds great. But when somebody can help you to appreciate what did it take to make this great, you know, that's where we're so grateful to have you come in to show us, like, why do we need to appreciate this? Why is this so unique? You know,
and the world of musicianship is big. It really accounts for the fact that for years and years, decades and decades, he's been working on these scores probably, and knowing them intimately. And so what we're seeing is the result of all those years of consideration and thought and really just masterfully acquiring all that it takes to play great music. So.
Thank you so much for helping us to understand this so much better. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
If you're interested in seeing this amazing show, call the box office at 630-942-4000 or visit atthemac.org. We hope to see you at the concert. Thanks for watching.